I want to give everybody a little more time to come in on some other screens right now. And this is sudden news for most of us. And it happened Friday. I forgot what time, but it doesn't matter what time. It's something that no one wants to really go through. There were some videos that I found and I kind of brushed up on it, but we know what the result is with Regina King's son, uh, Ian Alexander Jr., which I'm figuring that that's the her husband's name. But it doesn't matter the name, it doesn't matter whatever. It's the proximity to the mother and the father. But she is the one who was a single mother and raised her son. And there were certain things about this particular story that really hit me hard. And I know that across the board, like we kind of know what it is, but still the pain. And I just don't understand this Hollywood game. Um, but regardless of all of that, there's got to be some pain from the mother. Let's just take it that for now, as we explain certain aspects of it, that it's not a Hollywood sacrifice, Illuminati, whatever. Let's just take it as a mother losing her son. Okay. And I just want to say, I'm running my mouth. And Priscilla G is here with us. Thank you for being here on the Sundown Forum, a name that I made up at the last minute because this is not a morning show or a rising show, but it's the same elements. And this is not going to be long. I want to hold this down to about an hour. There's a lot of things that I have to do on the back end, and you see the results of what we're doing. And I'm just so glad that everybody's rolling here with us. But, joke and we laugh and we tell our jokes, but this is a very serious thing. And there's certain points that I want to bring up. I'm not here to report anything. You probably already know from platforms better than what I can tell you. But I just want to ask a few questions. And on that note, as I bop around different parts of my social media here to make certain adjustments, I want to hear what you have to say first, Empress Ology.
Um, well, we kind of talked about this. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? We kind of talked about this earlier, and it hits you different, you know, when you think about it, her as a mother. I mean, it's no different from anyone else losing a child, but she's, we grew up with her. She grew up with most of us. We saw her, as a young child coming up. Now she has this child and, the love of her life. And she makes it plain every time you talk to her. And, he's always with her at award shows, at different functions. He was just, that was her world, and that is a mother's nightmare, we know that things happen. We know that accidents can happen. We know that tragic situations happen. But when a child take their life, that is something that it's beyond words. What, it makes you question everything. It makes you question, what didn't I do? Where did I go wrong? Where wasn't I available for my child? Why couldn't that child come and talk to her? Why couldn't my child talk to me? Why couldn't they tell me what was going on? They claim that they love you so much, but they couldn't come and talk to you. And like I said to you, it's almost like the pain, whatever pain it was that he was going through, the pain was greater than the love that he had for his mother. You understand? Because if you have that kind of love, it should allow you to come and sit down and talk about whatever it is, no matter what it is. You should be able to come and sit down and talk to your mother, not even your father, because sometimes parents, children can't talk to their fathers, about certain things, because dads can be a little harder to understand or accept things. So, mothers, as we all know, if you have a really good, loving, compassionate, kind mother, we're always there to listen, whether we want to hear it or we don't want to hear it. We have an open ear and we're listening, and we're going to do our best to give you good advice, And
Yeah.
why couldn't he talk to her? Why couldn't he tell her what was going on? What was he struggling with? Is this something that she knew he was struggling with, some level of of depression? You understand? There's so, like you said, there are so many questions and so few answers. Because that's something that I would want to know. What was he struggling with? Were you
Right.
aware of it?
Right.
You know, Look at Sinead O'Connor's. What was he, 16, 16, 19, something like that, 19-year-old son
Yeah.
committing suicide 2 weeks ago. But then again, she knew that he was struggling with some kind of mental issues, and it just happens once again. Whatever it was that he was struggling with was more powerful than whatever love he had for, you know, his mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like you have, look, we have the public persona, and we have things that when we're public beings, individuals in the entertainment world, that we rather not share. And like you said, what was he struggling with? And why couldn't he have gone to his mother? Maybe he did. Maybe it was something that they discussed, and maybe it didn't appear to be as severe as she thought. Maybe he didn't want to mess up her world,
Hmm.
success that she has. Because we as people, and many of us who might be considered middle class, or the lower classes as far as the finances are concerned, that doesn't change your heart. That doesn't change your love. You can be somebody in where they call the hood, not making much money, waiting on a check or something low. You still love your children when you love your children. As dysfunctional as we can be, you can still love your children
Right.
unconditionally. You give your life for them. So this is
Mm-hmm.
not a one thing. But I didn't know the living arrangements, but
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that because he is his mother's son,
Yes.
and he was afforded connections to open up. I doubt very much if he felt impoverished. You know what I mean? When you're in that kind of world, there's always someone. Even my mother, who sung on a lower level, she was
Mm-hmm.
known for her voice, but it never went anywhere because she focused on my brother. She could have been one of the greatest opera singers in our time.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that proximity of her knowing so many people in different churches and different political arenas, and just different worlds,
Mm-hmm.
it afforded me hookups on jobs. It's like, listen, you want a job? So and so has a job. If you want to, yeah, I'll do it for 6 months. So I'll do it for the time. So I don't think it was anything financial. Um, let's just throw this out there that maybe I'm not saying he might have been struggling with something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something of an identity thing. I'll leave it at that. I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
anything about the rainbow, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it could have been the pressure
Mm-hmm.
of being a celebrity's son, which makes you a target in this world, especially with TMZ running around here.
True.
Um, he could have taken on her stresses, the
Yeah.
pressure, deadlines, the pressure of working, and maybe he gave himself up to. And I'm just asking, I'm throwing these things out as a possibility. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say so many questions, so few answers at this point. And the sad part about it is sometimes these situations never get answered, right?
Exactly.
You just don't know. But like, take it from her side now. Here she is on top of the world, with so many different projects going on. When she started out many, many years ago, and I'm just going to say this in general, she didn't strike me as being some top Hollywood blockbuster celebrity that's going to take the world. But I know she worked her way, like she stuck in there in this world.
Yes,
And
she
that,
did. Mm-hmm.
because I never followed her like that. I would see her face. I never followed Hollywood, which she is not just Hollywood. She's a Black woman in an industry that's dominated by different factions. But I don't really follow that particular category, which I'm going to make a point having this platform to do some things on the site down toward the bottom that address different stories. Not that I'm going to be running after Hollywood, no, but we need to have a category that we talk about those things, right? And that's going to start immediately within the
Right.
next 2 weeks. And we discussed that already. And but what was she feeling? Like, we know what she feels with this.
Mm-hmm.
And the ironic part about it is, I'm going to play the audio, a piece of the audio. If this gives me a copyright strike, they won't ban me. But it's a piece of the audio from, and it was shocking. And I'm going to say it ahead of time, that she was asked to play a role in which she lost a child. And she said that's something she couldn't see. That was something that she couldn't
Mm-hmm.
identify. And to think of something like that happening would destroy her. Those weren't her exact words. You'll hear it, but it's something to that point. It's not verbatim. You'll hear it. Let me find this video.
Right.
And this is supposed to start. I'm not sure if this is going to be. Let me just refresh this whole page. Just give me a second so I
Okay.
know the actual thing. But I want you to hear these words. It's better than
Uh,
me saying it.
yeah.
I put the article from the Griot there. This is one of their videos from Red Carpet Award Show. So this is heavily branded. So I'm gonna skip past the first few seconds, which may have a hidden tone to alert YouTube that they're using our SHIT. So here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, mute this, let a few seconds go by. There's a gentleman here from at the Golden Globe Awards. I think this was last year, the 2001 Golden Globe Awards, I think. And here we go. I'm gonna let it roll now.
Right.
Beale Street Talk, the film nominated If Beale Street Could Talk. The list goes on and on and on with you this year. Multiple nominee. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And her son was there with him.
Great to see you too. I told you I would see you here.
Yes, I remember that moment on live with Kelly, myself, and this is your son, it's your boy.
Yes.
How you doing, Ian? Nice to meet you.
I see you guys got the memo.
We got the memo.
Yeah.
It's just
all
like it
got
too.
the cocktail memo.
Yes.
Rosé,
Yeah, that's right.
Cabernet, Pinot. You know.
You have to be over 21 to wear these colors. Well, I like you. Look very, very sharp, my friend.
Thank you. Just trying to get like you.
Yeah, well, and me like you, believe me. So you portray powerful moms in both of these films. Obviously, we know you're a mom. Did you infuse anything that you learned as a mother into these roles?
I'm sure what I've learned as a mother, what I've learned as a Black woman in America that was once a Black girl in America, all of, I think, just life experiences. And just as an actor, part of being an actor is finding a bit of you in the character so that it rings true to the audience. So while those aren't my experiences, that is Regina finding herself in Sharon Rivers and in Latrice Butler.
And I did read an article talking about 7 seconds, and it said that you were at first hesitant to take that role. Why?
Listen.
I mean, look at this young man that is my most this makes me happier than anything in the whole world. And to know that I was going to have to be in a space of a mother losing her child for 6 months, it was terrifying. I didn't realize that was the reason why. In my mind, I told myself, I don't need to play another mother. I need to chill on a mother role for a while. But as I was in it, and Bina Sood was so sure that I needed to be the mother, and as I was in it and we were working on the show, I realized it was just my own fear of being in a place that I don't ever want to be in life, you know?
I've had a chance to spend some time with your mother, mostly on shows doing interviews.
Oh.
She's got this amazing energy about her. What was she like for you as mom growing up?
Man, as mom, usually people will ask me like, what's it like having Regina King be
She
your
seems
mother?
like she's always in a good mood.
Yeah, she's just a super mom, really. Like, she doesn't really let, bad work days or anything come back and ruin the time that we have. So it's really awesome to have a mother that can also love to enjoy. Oh my gosh, I can enjoy spending time with and all that. So,
well, she's done a fine job. You can tell. Good job, you guys. It's great to see you. I like this closeness. Excellent. Congratulations on all these nominations. We'll see you up there accepting, I'm sure. All right. Thanks, guys.
Time's up. You see that, Juliana?
Got to. Time's up. Yeah. So, just for women having equality and safety in the workplace and in all individuals. So that's really important to me, especially having a powerful woman that they rule the world, and to see them not be safe in the workplace is just terrible and not right.
And your mother is a role model to not only women, but to guys as well, to men too. You really are. You inspire all of us. Thanks, guys. Have fun tonight.
Wow, that's rough. On that particular interview, to see how she's looking at him, that was priceless.
But
Just to see-
were we supposed to see the interview?
You mean this particular one from last year?
The one that you just played. We weren't. You weren't showing it to us, right? We were just listening to it. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't put the visuals with the sound.
Okay.
I could have put the visuals without the sound. That would have went through.
I see.
See what triggers off YouTube to knowing that you're playing somebody else's content, which that's very popular, well-owned content. You can get away with somebody else's channel a little bit, and you still can't, because any little snippet of my videos, I can go into my particular page, and I have to explain this. It's a little off topic, but if you play 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds of any of my content, there's a copyright section that I can go to and find it could be thousands of videos, and I could approve it, or I can have them shoot it down, take it away, or threaten to shut down that whole thing or channel, which I'm not that spicy. There was one situation where there was a guy in Nigeria that I had to say, listen, dude, you know what I mean? And it was one particular video that I didn't, and I told him, but he was stubborn. He wanted to hold on to it, and he took it down. And this channel, I would never do that because it takes a lot of work. But this guy's channel was just snatching people's videos and he had like probably 10,000 videos that all belong to other people. And it wasn't even where he tried to like put himself in there and say, hey, this is from so-and-so. He's just a pure thief. So it's like, listen, man, just don't do that to me. If you ask me, I'd let you. But you didn't even respect. And he called me on the phone, and so I let that go. But like with TMC, on a copyright level, YouTube has mechanisms in place. This is why I'm going to make an audio jingle, not a jingle like a song, but one of their audio jingles to fool you when you use TMZ stuff over and over again is that sound, doom doom doom,
right?
Doom doom doom. That is actually copywritten and set up as anybody playing that on their video, they know it's TMZ, and automatically YouTube's going to get you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's very shrewd. So if I made a sound similar to that, or some kind of sound that I put in my thing and let people know that, hey, this is my stuff, or let YouTube know, that's a sure. They'd have to cut that part out. And there was a time when I did use one of TMZ's video and cut that part out. I don't know what they had embedded in there in the visuals, in the video.
Wow.
got me, but I wasn't trying to be a thief. I just wanted to share with people what I was talking about on a visual tip, which I'll take a still shot. They cannot mess with that. They got to make a good mechanism to mess with that. So that's why I played it like that. And maybe I'll get a still shot of that look when I maybe put up a little blog or write something about it tomorrow.
Okay.
But the look that she had was, I know she is hurting right now, regardless of what people's circumstances.
Oh
Look at
God,
this.
I can't even imagine. I cannot.
Look at this aspect of it. She's divorced from her husband, and he's in that world also. So evidently he has some kind of name or some kind of respect.
Mm-hmm.
And they're together. And at one point they dreamt together. They were dreaming together. Way back when they got together, like we're gonna do this together. It's bad when you divorce. What makes it hurt is when you have a common dream, even if he wasn't an actor, but he was still in that world. And it's comforting when you're with somebody who understands the world that you're in, right? And you lay in the bed. I'm not talking anything lewd. You lay in the bed after a hard day's work, and she can confide in him and talk to him, and he can talk to her. And they're in this world, and that could be challenging, being in the same profession or area of expertise in this world. But they had each other. Now something happens and you divorce. I don't know why they divorced, but chances are the biggest category is someone else, especially in that world when you have influence and people are coming at you. Don't know. I can't say. We don't need to even talk about that right now. But something happened between the both of them. And then now she's still in this world and she continues her dream. See, I'm speaking about the things we already know.
Yeah.
Stop. She kept going. It had to be somewhat of a discomfort. I'm not going to say an embarrassment, because if the husband was cheating on her, I don't know, I'm not saying, but there's a big possibility of that. And that's why, but I'm not saying I don't know. Let's just roll with that. And she has to work with these different people that probably have a lot of sympathy for. They probably heard things before and know what she's going through. It's like going to a job where your personal business, everybody already knows. And she had to struggle through that. And she has a young son that's hurting because of that.
Right.
It's one thing to be born and you're 2 years old and you don't remember. You're 1 year old and you don't remember. But when a person is living and breathing and walking around, and you see them and you know them as your father and you hear things, that's got to be hurting. But you have your mother that loves you and still sticks by you because she has claimed that she is a single parent, which means certain things, that she's on her own. Maybe she had custody of him, and that's the way it is. Maybe he was a great father to Ian, right? Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he gave money and he wasn't that much of a presence. There are a lot of factors that can add into this that we don't know and probably will never know. So my reason for speaking about this is not to be a reporter. Like many people get on YouTube, oh, I can get hits off of this video. Let me hurry up and put it up. That's why I didn't even rush it. I found out about it. I said, we'll talk about it later on. I uploaded my rooftop from earlier today that I made, and then we're talking about it. But I didn't want to talk about it in a way of sensationalism. I would never do that. I want to talk as a preventative to those who may have that on their mind, but I still want to go through the possibilities of what it could be. And he sees her pushing and succeeding, and they look so much alike. And I can tell language in every photo that I saw in Google Images that they have a really, or had and still have, and let's not use past tense, they still love each other. No matter what drove him to do this.
Yeah.
No matter how she feels, whatever, she loves him forevermore. But what stings it even more doesn't mean that a mother has less of a love for a child when she has multiple children. But she had one child, and that's him.
Yes.
And that's got to be
a
real hit, because she has physically on this plane right now, no children. And I believe she's like, what, 50 now? Maybe?
Yeah, she just turned 50.
Just turned 50. Okay, we got that fact right, because I heard it, but I didn't know. So at this point in her life, is she going to try? I don't know what point her body is in, but I don't think so. If she could, and maybe do something on a hormone level? Does she want to have a child now, and with who, and be 70 years old and have a 19-year-old? You know, I don't think so. That pain, she would have to get over that pain, because even if she pushed and did that, that child that's in her womb.
Nah.
I'm just, but I know that she's not going to do that. I know that's probably not a possibility, but let's just cover the bases. So now he is so much of her world, and he is not her man, but he is the son of the one who was her husband. So that even though the husband is alive and out there, he somehow is not a husband replacement, but really and truly, after whatever she went through with the husband to not be married to him no more, he is part of him, and one who is the most trusted masculine energy in her life.
Right.
To bet that Ian, her son, is he's going to be the most trusted. And he's a continuation of the marriage. She's got to think about the times that were good. She's got to think about what happened to make them not be together, which we don't know and we can't speculate. And I wouldn't really want to air their dirty laundry, but something definitely happened for them not to be together.
Yeah, exactly.
At least she had a handsome, intelligent young man for a son who had lots of promise, and now he's not here. What made him do this? Does she know something the world doesn't know that is really her business?
Right.
Only speculating. I'm only asking questions, because we're going to go into speaking about how we can prevent these things from happening. And I don't think she did anything wrong. I'm not going to put any blame on her.
Right.
She's going through enough already.
I don't think she did anything wrong.
No, she didn't. She didn't. The look that she had in her eye with that during that interview that I just played for you.
Yeah.
She would give her life for him.
Yes.
So now I want everybody to throw her positive, comforting, loving energy, whichever way you can in your meditations.
Please. Yes.
Even if you go on her Twitter and you're on Twitter and just say something. If you go on Instagram and say something, pull up a picture and say something that for the next few years, dig through and tag it. Don't just say something, but say @ in her name so she gets it, or put the hashtag with Regina King in it. So in her moments of solitude, even if it hits her 3 years from now, 4 years from now, because it will hit her.
Yeah.
Come on. This is so unexpected for a mother. Now, he's a grown man, but he'll always be her child.
Always.
No matter the man he is, that proximity in space never changes.
Always.
I always say it. Like a satellite to the earth, it maintains a rock solid proximity. So that while the world may say, oh, he's in his early 20s and he's a young man, a grown man, maybe he had girlfriends, maybe he had a child somewhere, I don't know. That's his business. No matter what, when a mother cries for a child, or the one that she bore from between her legs and her loins, not to get lewd, when she cries, the first thing out of her mouth is, oh my God, my baby. He don't have diapers. And me, I still have dreams of me being with my mother and my father, who died and transitioned in not a natural way, because my father went into a diabetic coma. He had Alzheimer's, and my mother had a stroke. That's not a natural thing. Those are other things that could have been prevented. That's why I watch myself so much.
Right.
My mother transitioned at 64. I'm 59 in April. But I understand the other stresses that brought that on. I understand things about my father that brought that on. But even still, a parent or parents transitioning. My father transitioned when I was 27. My mother transitioned when I was 31.
That's young.
Too young, really, in my mind. But they put enough in me. But even I can accept that, because they were older than me and they lived life, and we don't know the hour in which we will transition. But guess what? I still 3 or 4 times out of the week wake up after having dreams of laughing with them, fishing and doing stuff in the yard, and the little dog, the German Shepherd colt that we had, and just my father showing me how to box and lift weights, and my mother cooking meals for me and talking to me. I still wake up in tears in my eyes because I love them. I understand the system. this natural system that we live in, but it
Right.
doesn't take pain of yearning for them. Because no matter what, they're going to be my mommy and my daddy. And I'm a grown ass
Exactly.
man, and I'll say that with pride. They'll always be
Exactly.
my mommy and my daddy, and I ain't no little
Hmm.
boy. So imagine a mother who has to bury a son, not from a car accident that is hard to take, but you can even in time accept that, okay, it was an accident that did it.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
can say, well, the
Yes.
creator possibly had it for him to leave that way.
Right.
Maybe a terminal illness that you couldn't change,
Right.
you know? But when it comes in his own hand, whatever method it may have been, I don't know. He's not
Right.
here right now. Don't
Right.
know if it's a shot, which we know they would have said that, pills or whatever. We don't care about how he made up the mind to do it.
To
Why
do
did you
it.
mind to do it?
You
And then
know,
there's the side. But go ahead. I'm gonna talk about the other side, but just go ahead on your point.
there are a couple of people, Gifties in the chat also, and
Gifty.
they're asking if you could play the
Okay.
clip again.
Okay. I had knocked off that screen to reduce. I'm gonna wait till it scrolls across. So well,
Okay.
I'll just go to the griot. I'll just go to the griot. It's on the griot, but I'm gonna drop the link in the room, and I'm also gonna play it so you can hear it. Um, just you continue talking and let me
Yeah.
find
Okay.
it.
Yes.
Now,
So, people think that, and I'm not saying anyone in the chat, because they might come back and say, well, I don't think so. But people think that committing suicide is a sissified action, and it's not, because as, as far as I'm concerned, it takes great courage to commit suicide. Because when you can imagine that you're here right now and you're about to do something that's going to take you out of here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I agree, but I gotta add on to that. But go on and make your point.
No,
And I
I'm
have
just saying, the reasoning behind doing something might seem like, oh, you're punking out, or you can't handle reality, or you can't face certain things, right? And so you would rather step away. But mental illness is a real problem. It's a real thing, and it's a real problem. And we don't all have the capacity to deal with the swirlings that's going on in our minds, the things that are affecting us. And so it is not a sissified, weak action to take your own life. It's not. It's 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 just not. It's so something strong, something very strong got a hold of his mind, got a hold of him, whatever it was that he couldn't handle. And even if he had spoken to her about it, maybe she wasn't in a position to offer the kind of assistance that he needed. Or maybe he didn't think anybody would be able to help him. There were so many maybes. There were so many whys.
yeah.
You were going to
Well,
add to it?
yeah. It sounds like you were buffering. I don't think it was maybe from my side. Usually it happens like that, but it sounds clear.
Hmm.
Just in the chat room, let me know if everything sounded clear with Empress LG sound. Because my
Could y'all
sound
hear me?
to me, no, we heard you, but it's had a little to me, which it could be
Um,
internet or whatever, because my internet, I might drop off any minute and come back on. That's how my internet works. I got two of them in another computer, but like I said, we're gonna rock this. We 34 minutes into it. I wanted to hold it down for an hour. I can go on 6 hours on this topic, but I wanted to keep it compact to the point that when others look at it, it brought up certain things. I'm not going to get in
right.
the mood and trying to, reduce the vibration of this particular program, because it's a very serious thing. And I got sides of me. Y'all know I'm a clown. I get sexual. But I'm just going to keep it on this tonight and make it short. We will come back with
Yes.
Interest Noel.
Yes.
Me and you will probably do something separate. and I'll
Right.
probably another recording, and I know I'll do something on the rooftop. And if I make a little run tomorrow, I'm gonna take my GoPro and walk around the streets, and I'm gonna always bring you all some stuff. But I had a lot of work these last 2 days, so that's why I pretty much did one thing. Today
Yes.
makes the second thing. So even when you don't see me, just know that I'm grinding to make things better. But like what you said, some people would say he punked out. That's
Mhm.
cruel to say, because perception to me, not really to me. In my meditations, I've gotten beyond perception, meaning that when you have a sunny day every day and all of a sudden you have a cloudy day, I know the sun is shining. It's just blocked, and it's not going to be blocked forever.
Right.
Rays of the sun pierce through the clouds. I'm going to get the rays that the sun has for me, because when it peeks through the cloud, it has rays for other people. But from where I stand, it's going to give me what's due me by me being part of nature, and it'll be all right. I know that I've been through a lot of rough things, and I basically told you everything about my life that the world doesn't even know.
Hmm.
And I've been through rough times, but I can't compare my past pains and even some pains that still remain as residue on my heart to someone else that I don't know how or what their capacity for pain is. So I can't say I've been through it. He should have held on. I can't say that. I can't say that. There were times I've had great support systems, and there were times in my life that I've been abandoned by people who I thought were in my corner, and I was left standing alone. I know what being alone is all about. I've been there. And it's your lowest moments to be ridiculed and scorned and made to feel like ain't nothing at all, but I held on. You see, because my parents put something inside me to know that no matter how bad things get, but I have been gifted with that. So I can't look down on him and say he was less than because he did that. Because look at the example of the World Trade Center. I don't care how many millions of dollars that anybody would offer a person. If I
Hmm.
asked you to go near the top where
Hmm.
those people, after the hole was made in from what we know as explosions, but they say it's a plane,
Hmm.
I'll pay your family billions of dollars every day for the next 10 generations if you run out willingly and jump out of whatever floor it was that we saw people jumping out of.
That's all right. But then poor.
Exactly. You ain't gonna do that.
Mm-mm.
But what made those people run out and jump out? Because the heat was unbearable. It
Hmm.
was going to definitely kill them if they didn't move.
Hmm.
And I don't think many of those people had a choice. To get away from the heat that was on them, they had to just run.
Hmm. Yes.
When people do things, now they felt they had more of a chance at living by jumping out than they did as far as staying there. Which when you feel that heat, look, I was holding something boiling, some potatoes, and I wanted to move the little pot that was in there, and I thought it had cooled. When I grabbed the handles, I didn't have
Ooh.
brain to pull my hand back. So when they ran off and jumped out, some of them holding hands,
Hmm.
they weren't thinking about the fall that was in front of them. They were thinking about the pain that they were getting away from.
Exactly. Exactly.
So with suicide, we know that there's some people who don't have the capacity to look at something that's coming, not outside, but internal, that they perceive, because perception is reality.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell a man that has a weak heart that there's somebody outside his door with a gun or surrounding his house, there are 10 people, lay down behind the couch, and I'm a trusted friend, he's going to believe me. And he's going to have a heart attack and die. And there might
Right.
not be anybody outside that door. Perception for most of us is reality. I could have gave up a long time ago with lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that there were realities for me that were beyond my circumstances in the present.
Right.
I knew that I'd have a chance to tell my story, to shine in my own little way, not to try to be famous, but to have my time around the dinner table to talk and share what I've been through. And again, I'm not trying to do the one man upmanship thing, but I know for a fact that I've been through some very rough emotional. I should be crazy by now.
That's true.
This is why I have no breaks when I just joke or say things. I got no shame. I'm just glad to be here. Because if I didn't have that in me. Now, I'm not saying Regina King failed to put something inside of him, because once we get to be adults, we are our own individuals that we have influence of our parents and the people who fed into us, but we also come with something very unique. We can't be what our parents want us to be. There's that side. Listen, okay, I have a little bit of you in me, physical DNA, but I have my own personality. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
So my thing is, what was the fire that made him
run? Exactly.
Goes out of the World Trade Center. What was the fire that he felt? Was it hopelessness? And then most of us, we equate. I'm not saying anybody in the chat room. I'm not saying, but many of us who are a little more in a lower vibration and worldly, we can be nice people. The first thing we'll do is, and I don't know his circumstances, but I know wherever he lived had to be nice.
Right.
I know he wasn't renting one vermin-infested flat, roach-infested in the hood, and then he had to go show up by his mother.
Exactly.
I'm not saying he lived with his mother, but because of her circles, I know he had to be involved in something that led him to be a little better off, which that's his proximity. I'm not mad at him for that. But the first thing we tend to think about in these situations is that, why would he do something like that? Now, let's say he had a nice home or a house or car or whatever he had. There are people, he had that nice car, he had that nice house. I don't know why he would do. Material things don't soothe you when you're going through some type of turmoil in your heart and in your mind. There were lots of women around me at one time when I broke up with my old girlfriend, and they wanted to slide in. They were showing up at my house. I had to jump over the back fence to get in my house because some were there. There was a cop that was stalking me. I used to go to school with her from middle school, and she tried to jump. She called me. I hear your car outside, and the engine.
Oh my gosh! Are you serious?
Just come on outside, baby. It's okay. I was in so much pain, and my mother was in the hospital. I didn't want to have no playtime. These people didn't know me. What was between that woman's legs or the 13 other ones coming at me? It couldn't have soothed me. I was going through real changes. I mean, what real changes was he going through to do something like that?
Right.
I can tell you, I never. And again, I'm not putting him down, but life is too sweet. Even when I was at my lowest, I spent the night on a park bench for one night. I was homeless for one night, kind of by choice. I've slept in my car because I didn't want to have the cops called on me in an old former marriage and have my ex-wife say to them, 8 times that she called the cops on me saying I hit her. So I slept in a car. I remember leaving Orlando with most of my possessions, computer, clothes, and I was heading up north. Where I was going, I had a couple of options. I had a whole lot of options. I didn't want to take up on that. I just had to go.
Wow.
So I went into work calmly and told my supervisor, Sergeant White, after this double shift, I'm leaving. I don't want you to help me with my paperwork or my resignation from the job. Sir, you come on, man. And he knew my problems, and most people did. Come on, man, you ain't gonna do that. Well, it was better that than suicide, which I didn't consider. But I was in so much pain.
You just wanted to get out of town.
I came back to my children about less than a year. I came back to them. I gave her a shot one more time after I divorced her. And in me leaving from that pain and hurt and being devalued and being used, and it was so much. I'll talk about that in my book, or maybe one day me and you do a show and you ask me some questions.
Okay.
That my children was sleeping early that morning when I left to go to work to do a double shift. And I went into their room crying, knowing I was going to go. People didn't know why I did. Oh, how could you leave? And how the shit I was going through. I kissed them. And I inhaled. You know, around a child's hairline is the sweetest little smell.
Yeah.
And I went to my next daughter's room and all of them kissed them. And I went to work because I never kept any of that money. It went right to the house. And I went to work and I wasn't feeling good. And I had packed the night before. Well, she didn't know most of the things I wanted to have. And I left in uniform. Florida, Georgia, Carolina, kept going on up. Away, hearing songs that reminded me, thinking about my children, how they're going to wake up and I was gone. But it's better than me not doing something to myself, but I was in a place of madness for years. And one day, I was on the phone with my daughter, and she said to me in an innocent way, Daddy, when are you coming back? And I dropped everything I was doing. I said, I'm coming back right now, sweetheart. And within hours, I had drove all the way back down. Just from that. There's songs that I hear that make me cry from the pain that I've been through at that time. I'm not over that stuff. I'm not making this about me. I'm just saying that there's things that you can choose to do or pain that's so overwhelming. It's just that I wasn't wired that way.
Right.
There's times in their life I missed because I'd rather it be where they don't grow up in a household that is chaotic and arguing and cops every day and all of that stuff. So now smear me now when I pour my feelings out on a show or writing or art. Your mom is saying how bad I am and how lazy I am. We'll fight against this work. Because nobody can lie to you when you see what I live every single day. I don't do much. I want that dash between 1963 when I was born and whatever time I transition to mean something. This website, this YouTube channel, the artwork, the writing is that dash.
Exactly.
And I don't want nobody to hijack who I am. They're going to have to come against all of this because this is all I do. I mean, I work and I've worked jobs and did different things. But like I told you earlier in the conversation that we had privately, I could be out here. These African chicks got some asses on them. Works of art. I still got hormones. I still got a little battery life left in my penis. It might be 13%. I ain't the man I used to be, and I ain't taking no blue pill. But I'm not going out in this part of my life. This last section, I'm not saying this last, like I'm almost 60 or 59 in April, and it's going to end soon. Maybe I go to 100. I don't know. But this phase on is straight work.
Exactly.
I could be slinging sperm left and right and come in and nobody know nothing. No.
That's right. That's true.
If somebody's not in the mood, I'd rather beat my dick and go to sleep.
That's right.
Which I have done. I'm crazy, yes. I don't care. It's a serious thing here. And we have to be more connected. Again, I'm not saying it's Regina Hill's fault. Or Regina King, I'm sorry. It's Regina Hill's
No.
Well, I'm not even seeing the chat room. I know I'm going overboard here, right? Yeah, right? So all I'm saying is that this particular phase where asses, they have more than one. Yeah. I mean, the human body is a wonderful thing, and the beauty of it as an artist, and I appreciate that. I don't look at it in lust.
Right, that's true.
Kind of slips in a little bit, you know what I mean? But whoa, if this was 30 years ago, trust me, I'd be a chief somewhere, a mountain of whatever. But I don't want to go there with that this particular show.
No, we're not doing that.
Partner said my brother committed suicide.
Yeah, I saw that.
His only brother, he was 30 years old. That's got to be a hurtful thing. In the back of my mind, with my brother that's 11 years older than me and addicted to drugs, and still, he's still here. I couldn't imagine. So in my mind, even though I haven't seen him since 1998, and it was on what was it, 7th Avenue and 26th Street by this McDonald's in Manhattan by chance. And it was 1998. And what is this now? 2022? That's 24 years, almost a quarter of a century. But I know that he's living because the people who see him. That's got to hurt if you have a brother that's connected to you and he goes that way, because there's so many questions. Right now, in my back of my mind, there's hope that maybe one day my brother will call this show or call me, because that's another reason why I put myself out there, man, you crazy, you put your number out there. Y'all don't know the flair that this is for me, that I would love to connect with my brother. He's living in shame now. And there are times when I despised him, how the pain he caused my mother took her out and helped to give her that stroke. The time when he called me up in July, my mother passed in April of 94, and he called me up in July. And I said, hey, man, I was mad, but I was just like, hey, what's going on? I was mad. And he said, hey, I'm all right, man, what's going on? And I was mad. I said, you heard what happened to mommy, right? You know what he said? Yeah, I know, I heard. Did she leave something for me? What do I have? Man, I don't care. You could have took Mike Tyson, Ernie Shavers, and George Foreman all to hit me in the head at the same time. It wouldn't have hit me like that, the way to what he said. And that's why this finger is broken, right? That's why on this knuckle, that scar right there, not this scar, that was another one, but this scar here, that was his teeth. I knocked out a whole row of his teeth a couple years before that because he was bringing crackheads into the house over my mother, who was on the second floor of the house, her house, the house I grew up in. And then he stepped to me after he threw the cat down the stairs. He didn't want the cat to go up there and bother them. So he took the cat and threw him with force. You don't do that to no animal.
Oh my gosh.
And I went up there, I held it back. And he's like, so what you go? Because I always played the little brother role. In him. I was, not just because of the way I was built, I was freaking strong. And he stepped to me. He's thinking I'm going to back down from him. And I punched him until he slid back about maybe 8 feet, flew into the bathroom, up against the wall, broke all the tile on the wall. And he just walked and walked out. And then I saw that there were teeth all over the place and it ripped up my hand here. I didn't want to do it because I cried hard after doing that part. But he still brought the people up in the house, these crackheads. My house was not like that growing up. Even the drug dealers were like, yo, Lance, we can't sell to your brother no more, man. Do you know what he's doing? So I went back, and I told that story. I don't want to make this about me. All I'm saying is that,
because people need to hear it.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I found out what was really going on. I mean, even the drug dealers that my mother helped to raise before they were drug dealers, they were innocent, they were young. We don't know how we take a turn in life. It was despicable, no excuse. But even at a certain point, they had a heart.
Right.
All the ones up and down, like, yo, Lance, let me tell you what, we ain't selling to him no more. He's going to have to go across the Van Wyck Expressway to get his stuff. And even some of them were like, yo, not Mrs. Skirvin. So I snuck back there. Of course, I had a key. I stayed on the first floor in the dark, put on my Timberlands, had my gloves on. Not no boxing gloves, but gloves. The fingers cut out. I ain't busting up no more knuckles. I had some Carhartt top, that style Carhartt that the truck drivers are thick. I didn't know what I was going to have to deal with. And I'm sitting there in the cut on the first floor. There was a little hallway that was separate from the rooms on the first floor. Here, keys dropped from the attic where he was, where he lived. And a little crackhead, she pushed the key in and tiptoed up the steps. Past my mother. I mean, she was in a separate room, the hallway where the house was. The keys again, a Korean man. 2 older black men. 3 more crackhead chicks with their titties half hanging out. With little they had. I was like, what about 19, 20 people up in that little place? And there were more already up there. So Right after the last person got their keys and went up, I tiptoed behind them, not where they can see me. When they went up there, I walked up the steps. There was a little door, a little Luan hollow, cheap Home Depot door. I put it there. It wasn't for security. It was just to close and lock to have privacy and knock. I want to come in. I could
Right.
have kicked it in. But they anticipated more people coming. So I remember it was dark, but you felt the presence of a lot of people. And I walked up the steps slowly. And it wasn't just steps where when you get up on that floor, even you look across because it was an attic apartment.
Right.
Very small. But there was like a makeshift wall that went up a little higher so that you don't either fall down the steps or whatever. And that was it. So I kind of snuck up, put my little dark hood on, and I peeked around.
You're lucky it didn't creak.
I saw a sister sucking off that Korean dude. And all I could think is my mother is in the floor below this. Look at the spiritual stuff. And I've done crazy stuff. And I've been brought them into the house and all that stuff. But this was decadent. This is drugs. I smelled crack. The white man sitting there smoking crack, getting his dick sucked by two women. There were some people over there having sex. Pap, 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 pap. It was demonic. One dude was sitting there. He was going to get waxed off next. He was beating his dick. And my brother was in the front of the room in his own little bedroom there. He was collecting money from everybody to do what they do so he can get his crack for free.
Wow.
So I flicked the light switch and I remember clapping my hands. Party's over. And I put more bass in my voice. And I'm like Vavoom when I want to. You know that little cartoon, Vavoom, you know. It came in handy in corrections when everybody has to go to sleep. I got a loud mouth, pretty much.
I've heard it.
Put some bass in my voice and made it explode. And now I was so pissed. I don't care who you were, you ain't gonna get by me. And so one of them, oh shit. Gary, your brother's here. I said his name, so what? He's here. I said, you all are getting the fuck up out of my house now. And I was right by the steps. So come on, get out. And as they ran past me, bam, boom, I ripped up my hands, not in a way that permanently scarred them. I had crackhead. I was praying like, oh man, I hope none of these crackheads had HIV and it got in my hands.
Oh my God.
I heard a man speak real Korean with his dick hanging out of his drawers, running toward me. He got it too. I smashed him down and he just slid down the steps. Dunga, 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 dunga. I kicked, I punched. I had my own little nervous breakdown. And I must say before this is what happened, I tapped at my mother's door. I said, listen, mommy. She knew what was going on. I said, whatever happens, you stay in the room and don't get scared. I'm taking care of business. You should have told me. Don't worry. It's going to be all right. And they all ran out. It was something. Anyway, they were all outside. Some were running. The Korean guy had a car. He came to the hood. He was getting out quick. But most of the crackheads, their hustle was over, right? That was like not a trap house where stuff is sold, but you bring it there, give it to him, and you can do it. You can turn tricks. So it had to be, well, where did Korean man find out about this stuff? Where the old dirty white man find out about this stuff? My God, how long was this going on? It was not that kind of house. But the drugs will make you do certain things. That on top of other things that I went through coming out of a former lifestyle of decadence that I enjoyed very much. I'm messed up in the head behind that. But I didn't lose any sense. I've been pushed from, and so when I see this, my mother loved my brother so much.
Yeah.
She would let him do anything, but she always wanted to see the good in him.
Of course.
With him being a manipulator and a good talker. Let me tell you something. Like I said before, earlier on the rooftop, the one I did before, if he sat down here next to me, you wouldn't pay me no mind. Brother was handsome, charismatic, well read, well learned, with a degree. He can talk to the brothers in the street, straight killers, and had them there like, damn, man, captivate them like a snake charmer.
Isn't that something?
He can put on a suit and go to any corporate function through a friend who was in that world and find a way to the podium and speak in a way to motivate CEOs of companies where they're like, who is that young man? We have got to talk to him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Brother Lance fell off, guys. I don't know exactly what happened. Whew. Oh gosh. I'm reading a lot of y'all's comments, and you're right. A lot of you are talking about the fact that mental health is no joke, and you're absolutely correct. It is no joke. And we don't know what this young man was going through
It pays to
at
have
all.
it pays to have two internets. Sorry, it pays to have two internets.
What happened? The other one ran out?
No. I topped it off. This
Oh,
is
okay.
another 3 weeks of doing shows all day and all night.
Hmm.
That's not a problem. It's just that at this time of the night, it just kind of blinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hit the button quick. I didn't have no time to run to the other computer and put it on. I just said, hey, boom, here we are, because I was ready. There's a lot of ways of being ready. Now, maybe this one might blink too.
That's all right. Then you'll be ready on the other one. So you'll
Yeah,
just keep back and forth.
there you go. There you go. Um,
Yes. Continue on with your
yeah, so
brother.
so that is a great and has been a great disappointment to me
Mm-hmm.
and a burden on me, even more so. Not a burden where it's a burden where I'm tired and I don't want to hold this burden, but I can't F up.
Yeah.
I have to represent my mother and my father. I have to carry the baton that they handed to me and others who sown their energies into me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Captain Kirk on Star Trek struggling with the decision when everybody on the planet was getting hit by the spores that he was going to beam himself down, because somebody has to be on the ship to beam people back up. And if he
Right.
beamed himself down, the Enterprise is going to hover up there forever and they'd be down there getting hit with the spores. So this is why I'm very careful with myself in my life. I usually have many offers that most men would not refuse. And I think to
Hmm.
myself,
What
spiritually,
is
this will be
this?
jacked up. But would this bring me AIDS? Would this bring heartache? Would this? I done had enough freakishness in my life to last 5 lifetimes. Why that?
Mm-hmm.
For now, I just need to be cool in life and share my experiences for whoever could gain from it and other people's experiences that want to come onto the show. If you need a laugh, if you need a shoulder to cry on, we talk to you. And Priscilla G does
Indeed.
the same thing. So we ain't trying to be famous. We just want to help. Because I've been pushed to the edge and never suicide was a consideration, but madness was there for me. If I
Mm-hmm.
could have lost my mind and never came back, I could have been broken. I've been to the point where when you see a rope get pulled and it starts to break
Mm-hmm.
and it's apart holding together and it didn't break, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
So my heart goes out to people who actually go through things like this
Right.
or
Let's see. It's probably gonna pop out again. Oh gosh. You're right, Glow. It wreaks havoc because, like he just said, his mother wanting to always see the good, no matter how you slice it. He's still her child. He was her first child. He was her first baby. He was always going to be her baby. And she couldn't see him as anything less than that, And so it does wreak havoc. And someone else made a comment that what I think it was you, Glowwow, that said when a person commits suicide, they mess up it messes up the chain of things that are supposed to happen going forward, because we're all connected and things are interconnected. And so whatever he was supposed to do, that was supposed to create something for someone else, that connection, that link has now been broken. And so, another path will have to be taken, unbeknownst to whomever. Another path will have to be taken
If
because
I
that
have to come into
connection
my phone, so be it.
was broken. Oh, wow. Hey, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I got two
Is
internets that just knocked out.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to say, oh, it's the agents or whatever have you, but living
It,
a life
it,
like
it, do-
this,
it does seem suspect, doesn't it?
doesn't it?
It does seem
Doesn't it?
suspect, yes.
It does.
Um, I'm looking at just eyes. Oh, pretty
Yeah,
eyes.
hold on.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, right. I'm right. I'll figure out this layout.
Okay, no problem. Take your time. And someone else made a comment that men go through a lot. Absolutely. I can't find a comment at the moment, but you are so right.
We're just
Um,
going like this,
that's all right. This works.
whatever.
hmm Uh,
Okay.
listen, as long as your folks can see you, that's all they care about. They don't care how you look, why you look, where you look. They just want to be able to see you. That's all, you know.
Well, like I said, when I turn it this way, and right now, I'm gonna have to turn it the other way, right?
Yeah, just
We're gonna have the last laugh anyway. We have to turn it. Wait a second. Let me get this right. Am I upside
you're a
down?
mess. You're sideways. Now you're correct.
Right, that's right.
Now
Yeah.
you've come correct.
You have to turn back and you see the wall is a green screen wall.
I
So,
know. I know.
but like I said,
Listen, we
I'm
don't
not going out like
care.
that. The
We
show's
don't
over and you
care.
come back on. Ain't that
Right.
something?
We don't
Because
care. We just want to see you. That's it.
oh, thank you.
Oh.
Um,
Yes. No, I was making a comment. I was just following up on what someone said about men, you know, dealing with so much, and because of the stigma that's attached to mental illness, a lot of men don't share what they're dealing with. They don't share what they're talking about, what's going on inside of them. They don't talk. And
let me just ask
so,
you:
hmm?
can you see that black stuff? Because like with
No, I
these
can't see it.
they're shedding, and usually there's these little black flecks of shedded
Yeah, but we
plastic.
can't we can't see it. So we don't know, you seem like you have a twitch.
I had to when I was up in that attic busting those heads open.
Oh gosh. If you come close to the camera and you turn sideways, we might see some of it, but we don't see it. Yeah, we see it now. If you turn into the camera,
Something
yeah,
out
we
of
see it.
yeah.
That's all right.
It's not
Oh,
just a shedding of that thing on me. So
right. Oh,
I'm not
Lone
vain.
Lion said it. Right, Giant. Lone Lion said it. Um, and they're correct that because men have this, they have to be macho, and because of the stigma that is placed on mental health issues, especially in the Black community, because white folks have no problem, they have absolutely no problem talking about their mental health issues. They will straight up, hey man, I have a therapist. Hey man, I have a psychologist. Hey man, I go to the psychiatrist. Hey man,
Yeah,
whatever. I take this medication for depression. I take that medication for anxiety. They sing it from the rooftop. They don't care. They don't have a
they don't
problem
lie.
with it. We're
They
the
got
ones
lies.
that have problems with it.
They
Huh?
say it loud. Yeah, I was at my therapist today, and
Yes.
he actually gave me an
Yes.
increase of Prozac I'm supposed to take, and my anxiety
Exactly.
medication gonna freak out and shoot up them all. And I'm looking at this joker like they
They
it's
don't
normal
care.
life.
We have to
It's right.
take on that attitude, because here's the thing. A lot of us don't want to talk about it. A lot of us don't want to have it on our record that we have seen a psychologist or a counselor or whatever, because it's a stigma and it may affect our employability, right? And so that's one of the reasons why we don't talk about it. But if more of us even the ones of us that are in prominent positions, if more of us spoke about that issue, if more of us went and got help, things would change. Because you can't block every single person from a good employment because they went and saw a counselor, or they have certain things on their record that is visible. You understand? More of us need to get up and say, look, I have a problem, or I'm struggling with something. And if
Right.
you don't want to go to a therapist, find somebody that you can confide in, somebody that you trust, which is another hard thing to do, is to find someone that you can trust with your most private and personal thoughts. That's not an easy thing also, because you just never know
We don't know what his circle was.
yeah.
We don't know what his support was. Maybe his mother thought that he had a more secure, a more, you know, true and genuine support system. Maybe he didn't. Maybe
We
she
don't
felt
know.
that there were people that he can talk to.
Mhm.
Maybe he didn't. Growing up, I've had several groups of friends that I would spend time with. I never had any major issues. The only major issue that I had in my life was that my brother's drug addiction, which really wasn't an embarrassment because at that time in the 70s, there were so many people who were addicted to heroin. Every household on my block had someone, they may not have been living there, but they had someone who was either selling something or using something. So that was part of the culture, even though I'd have to say that I had one of the best childhoods that I could see that other people didn't have, and some other ones didn't have it. You see what I mean? But that being said, um, again, we don't know a person's threshold. Like I can take
Mm.
a maybe in certain areas of frustration, but others can't. We all have a threshold. I remember going to the gym. There were guys my age that they weren't developed at all. They're like, "How did you get so developed at this age?" It's like I've been banging away for years at these weights and living this life. You know what I mean? My phone is kind of freaking out here.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
doing that. Um, again, just make a few more points, and we're going to come back with this concept.
This person, eyes wide open, he's been making some comments, and he says here, how many people out community on black men are willing to guide and protect the vulnerable? Um, it honestly is not there. Young black men are out, basically, they're alone out here when it comes to mental health. Um,
Yeah.
People look at somebody with mental health as weak. It's laughed upon, and you're right. You're absolutely right. Eyes wide open.
But
Um,
that's like a poll that I put out there in the community section, and I had 402 responses. I was
right.
like, whoa, I thought I might get like 25 or something, but it was like, it hit home. And I gave some answers that were like really crazy, and I gave some sensible answers. And 75% acknowledged that we need to deal with the mental health. That's like getting a brand new car
Mm-hmm.
and not wanting to tune it up. Look at the stresses that are on our mind. Look at the expectations, the low expectations of all of us. They expect our sisters to be hoes and prostitutes and easy sexually. They expect us to be thugs and thieves and coming out the gate just on sight. That's what we're expected to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they're
Right.
to achieve in a system, their world, low expectations.
Right.
And lots of times we reward that because we don't have examples of somebody who is achieving. So me
Right.
myself, I have all that on my shoulders. I'm not going out like that. I'm gonna be a ghost for some of these people. Like, how do you make it past that? Even this
Mm-hmm.
age, I can sit back and say, "Well, I did mine. I got mine. I'm living chill. I'm chilling out." No,
Is that
I got it the day I transition.
right? Is that cord on your
You know,
phone? Is there a loose? Is it loose? The
is
cord,
what?
the cord on your phone. There's a lot of
No, this is where the phone has been freaking out. It
yeah.
calls people by itself. I wake up in the middle of the night, somebody saying hello, hello on the speakerphone. I'm like, who is this?
It's a lot of static
Anyway,
coming from it. A lot of crackling.
we're at 114 minutes, and I said 1 hour. I don't want to dilute it and have anything get in the way. I just find it so strange. Nothing. There's no interference from. And I got two of these jammies, and I'm still waiting to get on the computer, and they're making me wait, and it freezes up. And as soon as I get up the show, it's going to be all right.
Oh
So as
yeah.
long as the phone is working, let's sketch this show out within 2 hours. We made our points. You make your point. We'll wrap it down. We'll come back tomorrow with an addendum. We'll speak about mental health even more. And I just want to tell everybody that
And of course,
with Trauma Thursday, we
right,
address this
exactly,
every Thursday.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say because someone said they wish that she was available to speak on it, but
But no, you know what? She was going to speak on something, but maybe she might change her mind and speak on this
mhm,
and
mhm.
go in depth. Only she can, with her experience, and she'll see things, and there'll be more time for the story to be out to find out more. But regardless as to finding out more how it happened, he did it,
Mhm.
and I like her take on it. Maybe she'll have a special show before Thursday for a little hour or something just to address that. I'll ask her. We'll see if we can. She has a busy schedule, and she gives up
Right.
time. So like I said, I want to address these issues that people are reaching out to on Clubhouse, on Twitter, aggressively to say, come on in the show. I want to have more people diverse coming on
Mhm.
that can talk about the worlds. It'll be very interesting people. It'll be comical things. It'll be things we didn't know in worlds that most of us don't travel.
Right.
Anything goes as far as talking to people on this channel. Anything goes. If you have a story or something you want to share, I don't care what world you're in, how high you are by man's system, or how low you are by the world standards, whatever it is, we'll talk about it as long as you have something to share. Because I do feel that everybody has a story to tell, whether they be looked at as great by the world or just something that's just to blow off. Everybody deserves their time at the mic if they have something to say, because we never know where we'll end up.
True.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot from the homeless people when I was driving the bus on how to survive in the street.
Mhm.
Things I would have never. I've learned things from people who are in high positions and taught me things, and it gave me a well-rounded look on life and how to navigate. And I'm appreciative of that. And I can never turn my back on anybody who has a story to tell. As long as they're there sincerely, they're not there for ego reasons or whatever. And as long as you're real. But go ahead and
Exactly.
wrap it up, sweetheart. And
I
we'll
just
keep this.
all I can say right now is for everyone that is listening, if you're going through something, talk to someone, please. Get help. I know it's easier said than done, but as best as you can, get help. And to Regina King and her family, all I can say is my condolence goes out to you, and I pray that your son finds peace wherever he is.
Yes.
And good night, guys. Thank you all for being here. And for those who may have felt that I spoke too much, it was nice having you here also.
It's okay. I'm sorry I can't end up with the fancy music. I've been trying, but I will say that this time of night, for some reason, it's like some kind of bullet or something is shot at my internet for a good 15, 20 minutes. And then
Yes.
it comes, and it's just slowly but surely buffering. You never know.
Mhm. Mhm. You never know.
That eventually. I kind of have a feeling what it is. And like I said, I want to thank everybody for coming in and reach out to her on her Twitter, on social media, tag her name and anything you put up some good stuff. I'll just throw that out for her comfort because I know it's hurting her. The
Yes.
pain my brother, my mother literally took her off this planet. What will she be now? Let's
Yes.
not let it be a turn because of the pain that she's going through. It's something she's never going to go or get over, but let us help her to see that there is a joy to life and there's more to life, even though she's always going to be his mother and carry him in her heart.
Yes.
And we're all going to be here forever. So let's live
Indeed.
our life in a way that exemplifies the good. We can still be human. We can still tell the dirty jokes and be horny or crazy, whatever. But overall, let's do the good. So at the end of the day, we did more good than the bad that we did maybe in ignorance. And when we learn better and know better, we can do better. But for those out there, it's never that bad. Look at it this way.
Indeed.
I said earlier, The sun is always shining. Just because the cloud is there doesn't mean the sun doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean it's never going to shine on you again. You're going to have to
Exactly.
go through things. Always reach out for help. Don't be too prideful where you say, I'm not going to get me help. I had help with different things, and there were times when I had to walk alone. And there will be times when you have the perception that you are alone, but you're never alone. There's always a better reality waiting for you. And when you, and my own saying, my own private saying that I made up, if you know how to taste sour, you'll appreciate what's sweet. You know what's sweet because you tasted sour. And the
Exactly.
Creator knows. I tasted a whole lot of sour. That's why at this age, I'm jolly, I'm happy, and I'm enthusiastic. And even when things get bad, there have been times I've had this show and I was going
Mm-hmm.
through some rough times. Nobody ever knew. Some people
Mm-hmm.
did. I kept on going with it, and I'm still here, living a whole new life that I never thought. But the negative people that tried to speak negativity in my life, if I absorbed it, I wouldn't be here. But you just hold on.
Exactly.
And if you have to take your life, please call me. I will talk your ears off until you fall asleep, and you won't even think about doing that. And I'll make you see what can happen because I'll tell you some real shit that I've been through, and I'm still here. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
So anyway, I love you all. Thank you for coming here. It's about Regina King and her son, and just whatever, if you want to call it a prayer, if you want to call it a meditation, whatever it is you want to call it, let it be some good energy you send her way, and drop it on social media. Let it be seen. See, and let's just move on and live life and help each other and try to look for these signs in other people, even though it can oftentimes be unexpected. Let it be something that we check on our people, give them a phone call, even when things appear to be okay. Hey man, what you doing? I ain't doing nothing. Come on, let's go get something to eat. It's on me. Even if it's your last for a couple days, do that on a regular basis. Never leave somebody out. There's 2 or 3 friends I need to call right now. Not now, but tomorrow I'm going to drop a call on that note because I know they're going through some things. And I want to
Right.
know, 1 or 2 of them, I said, listen, you have to come all the way out here to Africa and live with me. I got an extra room or 2. I got enough space, and we're going to make it. Because I'd rather lose a room, but it wouldn't be losing it because you'd be friends of mine. You'd be helping me out. You'll give 10 more years of my life if you come out
Hmm.
here with me and we just move through this thing together. But I'm not going to, on my watch, I'm not going to let something like that happen. If it does, it's because I didn't know. Anyway,
Right.
sweetheart, I'll talk to you in a little while. And I just thank you all for bearing through this. And I'm glad we got a little time in because I want to keep it as a quality presentation.
Yes,
But
indeed. Thank you so much, Brother Lance. This was
thank you.
your idea, and you stayed up, and I appreciate the fact that you stayed up so that we could get this done. Thank you.
Yeah. And you know what? I still got a little work to do on the website. I got to fire this up, shut it off, and put it back on again and do some more work. And then I'm going to hit the sack and we'll be back tomorrow and during the week for sure. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
much love to
Yes.
you all.
Yes.
We're here.
Much love, everybody.
All right. Take care, everybody. Lance Dirt out.
Bye.
LG out.
Yes.
We'll
Yes.
talk to you. Gotta go to the
Okay.
bathroom.
All right.
Okay.